Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Mi, and let's get ready to sail the seas together in another One Piece video. Today we're going to talk about the pirate who inspired Luffy to start his journey, the red-haired man of mystery himself, Shanks. During his childhood, Shanks followed in the footsteps of Goldie Roger and traveled the world with him until Roger was finally able to find the greatest treasure that all pirates in the world thought was just a fairy tale. Because of his crew's persistence, the Roger pirates were able to find the One Piece treasure. But Shanks wasn't able to go on the last trip to see the treasure in person, deciding instead to stay behind and care for Buggy, who had mysteriously fallen ill. It turns out we know Shanks had made a promise to his captain, saying that when he got old enough, he would gather a crew together and find the One Piece on his own. But that isn't what ended up happening. In the midst of his new journey, Shanks' goal seems to have changed, making him have other obligations in mind. Something became more important than finding the greatest treasure in the world. In today's video, we're going to talk about why Shanks is not looking for the One Piece and the possible motivations or reasons for him not wanting the title of King of the Pirates. If you're new to the channel, we really appreciate your help by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It really means a lot and motivates us to make new videos. But for now, let's get into the video. Shanks has been shown to be a cheerful and laid-back person who is extremely protective of his friends. Shanks is the kind of person who would even give up his own dreams if it meant saving his friends. We don't know what motivated him to become a pirate, or even really where he came from. But Shanks got his start by crewing under the great pirate Goldie Roger, who would later become known as King of the Pirates. Shanks, along with his friend Buggy, were apprentices in Roger's crew and weren't particularly strong as children. But along the journey to find the One Piece, Shanks learned a lot about how the world worked, the hierarchy of power that ruled the world, and most importantly, what was necessary to keep these powers in harmony. This harmony kept big confrontations from happening. Events that would be capable of causing conflict so huge or disrupt the world in such a great way that it would change the world overall. Shanks brings this knowledge to the present day so that he can avoid as many conflicts as possible. After the Roger Pirates disbanded, Shanks returned to East Blue, where he trained in swordplay and worked to master hockey. During this time, Shanks became a great swordsman and began his lifelong rivalry with Mihawk to become the greatest swordsman in the world. Despite many clashes between the two, they always ended in a tie, never settling who was indeed the greatest. As Shanks worked to further his dream of becoming a pirate, he assembled the crew that would eventually be recognized as the Red-Haired Pirates. A short time after forming this crew, Shanks and company ended up in Fuchsia Village, where he meets a young Monkey D. Luffy. After seeing how similar Luffy was with his former captain, they formed a friendship. When we begin the story of One Piece, we see Shanks save Luffy from a Sea King by sacrificing his own arm. This is because Shanks realized the determination the boy had, so he trusted all his hopes to him. Shanks hoped one day that Luffy, like his old Captain Roger, would be able to find the One Piece. And in a massive demonstration of passing on his and his captain's will, Shanks eventually gives his straw hat to Luffy, telling him to return it to him once he's become a great pirate. So Shanks and his crew roam the sea, acquiring fame and riches, but by having his arm eaten by a Sea King, Shanks lost the chance to become the greatest swordsman in the world. So Mihawk got the title. Despite losing the title, it never really shook Shanks' will. Shanks grew stronger and stronger during his sea voyage, facing off against several powerful pirates and growing strong along with his crew, quickly being recognized by the Navy as highly dangerous pirates. After the end of the Pirate King's life, the world's power system changed, and three pillars were formed together that would maintain the balance of power so that world peace would reign. The three pillars were based on the three greatest powers that existed in the world. The first pillar being the Yonko, who themselves were some of the most powerful pirates in the world, having crews capable of causing amazing disasters in the world. In fact, three of the Yonko ended up being former crew members to the notorious Rocks pirates. Kaido, the strongest creature that ever lived, Charlotte Linlin, who would eventually become recognized as Big Mom, and Edward Newgate, known as Whitebeard, who was known as the strongest man in the world. After being recognized by the Navy and world government, Shanks also became a Yonko because of his great deeds and also being associated with the Pirate King's crew. The second pillar of power in the world was the Navy, who maintain order and hunt pirates that cause disruption around the world. The Navy also carries out the objectives that the world government orders them to. Lastly, the third pillar of power were the warlords of the sea, or Shishibukai. Famous pirates who individually may not have the power of a Yonko, but still possess great fame because they are still quite powerful. They were recruited by the world government so they can maintain order in places the Navy cannot. Before the recent disbanding of the warlord system, the Shishibukai consisted of Dracula Mihawk, Bartholomew Kuma, Boa Hancock, Buggy, Edward Weevil, Don Quixote dos Flamingo, Trafalgar Law, Gecko Moria, Blackbeard D. Teach, and Jinbei. Although there were only 7 members, whenever a Shishibukai was removed from the group, a new pirate was added to occupy the space that was open to prevent any power vacuums. And it has been said that if the 7 members were to combine their power together, they could easily defeat a Yonko. So this group was essential for the world to maintain balance. But with the recent dissolution of the Shishibukai, a new group has been created in its place called the SSG, or Special Science Group, which now, together with the Navy and the Yonkos, are the 3 pillars of power existing currently. Now, Shanks has never really shown great ambition. After becoming a Yonko, he really didn't even bring up the subject of finding the One Piece. Initially, we just see him celebrating with his friends for becoming a Yonko and not really even being close to finding the treasure. So Shanks, it seemed, never really cared about the great treasure hunt started by the Pirate King's execution. But as the story unfolded, we started to find Shanks where many conflicts between Yonkos and Marines started, and it seemed like he found a reason to move. When Whitebeard lost his life at Marineford and Teach took his place, Shanks took action, seeing that these events were increasingly taking the world in a direction he didn't agree with. Shanks even seems to have made a secret alliance with the Gorosei so that together they could stop a mysterious character that could cause big problems. So perhaps Shanks' ideals completely changed, or he was desperate, or maybe something else. After passing his straw hat and his captain's will down to Luffy, he also passed his old goal of finding the One Piece, believing Luffy would complete the quest of finding the One Piece while he and his companions pursue a new objective. While watching Luffy's exploits throughout the story, Shanks finally found his new goal, which would be to keep the balance between the powers so that a great tragedy could never occur in the world. During the Great Battle of Marineford, when Shanks learned that Kaido was going to confront Whitebeard face to face, Shanks went to stop him. After somehow getting Kaido to retreat, Shanks then went to Marineford to put a final end to the battle. Shanks seemed to know that if the Battle of Marineford persisted, the consequences would have been serious, with so many pirates and sailors losing their lives. Even an admiral could have lost their life during the combat. Shanks was able to stop the confrontation with just a warning, and even frightened Teach into giving up the fight. Shanks completely changed his ideals and goals so that he and his crew could keep the world a place that he considered fair and peaceful. Maybe not going so far and wanting to change the world government or pirates, but rather avoiding unnecessary conflict altogether. We know that Shanks that also has the ability to walk into Mary Joie and speak to the Gorosei, the greatest leaders of the world government, aside from Imu. Now, we don't know if Shanks knows of Imu's existence, but the whole world of One Piece is controlled in that one place. Mary Joie being considered the safest place in the One Piece world, Shanks tried to warn the Gorosei about a certain pirate, even though they are the biggest villains in One Piece. But because of this common enemy, he doesn't seem to want to destroy the Celestial Dragons or the Gorosei. Throughout Wano's arc, Luffy, along with his crew and the other supernovas, are currently looking like the next cause of a great power imbalance in the world. As they get closer to achieving the goals of finding the One Piece, they also create larger imbalances by defeating Yonko and the Navy. By the end of the Wano arc, Luffy, Kid, and Law may end up being able to beat Kaido and maybe even Big Mom, causing the balance of power on the part of the Yonko to fail, bringing down one of those 3 pillars of power. But after Wano, we'll see even more major conflicts take place in which all the pirates that are going after the One Piece are going to end up facing each other. This further conflict is going to cause great destruction, making Shanks need to act. So as we've seen in the story, Shanks is planning on meeting Luffy soon, for friendly reasons, or maybe even to prevent him from causing more trouble, because there's an even bigger battle looming over the horizon. Either way, he might even need to explain to Luffy what he really has to do to become the true King of the Pirates. Now, even though Luffy and Shanks are great friends, it doesn't mean that they would be willing to abandon their goals if the other asked. So this could be the reason for a fight between them. A fight where both would be using everything they've got to demonstrate how much stronger they are than the other. But at the end of the day, Shanks did leave the title of King of the Pirates to Luffy. So if Luffy doesn't fight for that goal and pave the way for the realization of his goal, or maybe even something greater, something like that could even make Shanks cry. So we're gonna end the video here, but comment with your thoughts. Is Shanks really acting to keep the balance? How far do you think he would go to keep that balance? Thank you all so much for watching the video until the end. If you have any ideas for themes or future content, make sure you leave them in the comments below. And if you made it this far, give us a like as you head out to take on the rest of your day. In closing, we just want to thank you so much for your time and let you know how amazing amazing it is that we get to talk to you about One Piece every day. All these great ideas and possibilities, and all the different ways that we get to learn about the manga together. Hope to see you in the next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.